thought actually, if you think of it, all the different herbivores and carnivores, omnivores, basically breaking up different species of animals into groups that eat different foods. Obviously herbivores just eating grass and any plant material, leaves and so forth. But what struck me now, and I don't know why I've never thought of it like that before, is we always call ourselves omnivores. In other words, let's say the same as baboons or chimpanzees or warthogs, things that eat all kinds of plant matter and meat and fish and whatever else we might eat. But if you take it more on a global scale, we also consume copper and iron and uranium and the ocean and wood and sand and soil and everything else. So in a way we sort of have to think of ourselves as very different things that consume the earth. And hopefully in some way down the line we will do it in such a way that we don't consume all of it. No idea why I thought of that now. We're going to leave that thought somewhere else for somewhere in the future. In the meantime, we're driving past a whole herd of Impala again. Little bachelor group, all males. A lot of young males getting themselves fit and healthy. Some of them looking forward to the rutting season at the end of summer. They want to be in good shape by the time that happens. Oh, look at that male, Dixon. Oh, he's got beautiful horns. The one walking in the front of the two there on the left hand side. Two things that struck me. The one is that his one horn is slightly off angle, so he obviously broke it to some extent last rutting season with a fight. He does have an exceptional set of horns. Beautiful male. Give us a look. Not interested. Well, let's go see what else might be lying around out here in the bush. Beautiful cloud formations starting to develop. It should be a stunning sunset. Welcome back in the vehicle. We just had a quick break. Just before we start driving again, Martha from Alabama had a question about cheetahs. Basically, sorry, let's turn the radio down. Martha, just to answer your question about the tear marks. Now, cheetahs unfortunately didn't get a lot of close-up looks this morning at that female cheetah. But cheetahs have got tear marks running basically from their eyes like that around and then down the sides of their mouth. And basically what you asked was whether there's some sort of physical tear story behind it. Now as a little boy I remember vaguely a story as well about them crying or something like that. Now I don't know, maybe back then I was too young to remember. There was some story to it because cheetahs back then were highly endangered, and maybe they used a little bit of media to make them come across as sad animals because they're endangered. So it's not a scientific fact if you want. The reasons behind the tear marks, two reasons really. The one that carries some merit is that darker markings in front of the eye. A lot of animals that hunt in daytime, if you think of things like bee eaters or even lions, when lions close their eyes a little bit, they put a black line under the eye that becomes more prominent. When they open their eyes more in daytime, it's more white underneath. So what it does, lighter under the eye reflects more light in, so for nighttime. Or for daytime, having dark lines under the eye, the same as in America, Alabama, I'm sure they have football teams as well. American football, often people have those dark marks under the eye. So it helps a little bit to reduce glare. But I think more importantly probably is those dark markings can give you a very striking visual aspect. If you think of war paints maybe that different tribes used to wear when they had wars, makes you look more aggressive. And in the case of cheetahs, very often they would have to try and intimidate something. So let's say there is a leopard that wants to steal its food, or even vultures trying to steal the carcass, or maybe threatening the cubs. They show their teeth, and they lift their teeth out to show the teeth in the pink of the mouth, and those black lines also become very prominent. So it just helps to make the animal look a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more threatening. So probably the threatening or the aggressive aspect of the markings is the main reason why it's evolved like that. And then obviously also just to have a little bit of dark around the eye for the aggression. But if you think of even for humans, if you have a dark mustache, beard line around the mouth, it can help you look a little bit more aggressive if you want to. So probably that's the reason for it. Whereas for physical tear marks, not really. It's probably more a story that comes from them, even though they are often described as tear marks because they run literally from the sort of corner of the eye down and around the mouth. In the meantime, let's go look around a bit more for some cats, hopefully. Finish off the first part of that story about the cheetahs is back in the 80s and early 90s, cheetahs were considered endangered. Their numbers have also steadily climbed back up again. Still considered vulnerable, so it's not like we suddenly have them running around everywhere again, but their numbers are much more than it used to be, or a lot more than it used to be. So they are recovering again certain areas. Namibia, for instance, Botswana, cheetah numbers are looking very healthy again.